Slow hunts follow me like a lost puppy. I can't shake them no matter how fast I run. This buck behavior is not new. I see it 9 out of 10 years during the middle of November. Bucks aren't cruising, but if I can find a hot doe, I can still have a great hunt. In my search for does, I fall back on my favorite spot. There is food here, not a lot, the drought saw to that, but there is enough to hopefully draw out a few does, and maybe one of them will have a buck attached. For this afternoon's hunt, I'm heading back to the redneck blind that's in a spot that I used to hunt all the time. It's one of my favorite spots on the whole farm. But this year the trail cameras didn't show any shooters at this location. So for whatever reason, I mean, like I said, traditionally it's been a very good spot. But we're gonna go back and check it out. It's been a long time since the camera's been running there. So something may have moved in. You know, the rut has a way of mixing these deer up. So we're gonna make a trip back in there, take a look, and enjoy the evening looking out the window of the redneck blind. There's a deer out already on that upper end. He's a 3-year-old. See how they're staring? They're not looking at us. They're all hens. Yeah. Are they pretty close? I've got about an hour left in my hunt. And so far the only action that we've had was a doe and a really nice 3-year-old buck on the other end of the plot. So this blind sits facing about a 1-acre patch that's mostly planted to big and beastie. I planted this back during the later part of the summer. The drought had taken out what I'd planted in here originally, which was soybeans. So we came back in and used the RTP Genesis drill and planted big and beastie in here. It did pretty good, but now the deer have been hitting it pretty hard. They've been eating a lot of this, whatever's growing up with the rains that we've had this late summer and early fall. Day turned out beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, hardly. And other than being pretty gusty, it's a nice, beautiful fall day. I'd say the wind is probably hitting 20 miles an hour at times here. I'm thinking that doe was in estrus because that buck kept coming out, and then he'd feed for a few minutes and he'd go back into the brush and then he'd come back out again. So he wasn't leaving that spot, so I'm guessing that she was standing just inside there. So maybe that will bring another buck out before the evening is over with, because if you get a hot doe, usually there's other bucks that are trying to find her too. Not sure on my plan for tomorrow. I may try to get out tomorrow evening. We're gonna eat our Thanksgiving turkey tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna struggle. No, I'll never get out. I guarantee you. I'm done for the weekend. Yeah. Probably a 4-year-old. While I have shot several really good bucks from this blind, our kids have also had great hunts here. It is a killer spot when there's plenty of food. And that was never more evident than when our son Drew shot an awesome buck here in 2011.
Can I shoot him? Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yeah. I really think I hit him, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to wait here a little bit, and then we're going to go see if we can find some blood. And so I really, really hope that I got him, because that would be really awesome. That'd be by far the biggest deer that I've shot. Yes! He ran into a tree. This guy's a giant, and I might go a long time before I get another chance to shoot one this big.
There are only 3 ways you can get busted in a tree stand. The deer can smell you, hear you, or see you. To reduce the chances of being seen, we wear the best camouflage we can. Realtree's open patterns perfectly blend into the hardwood timbers that we hunt. Cabela's offers a wide range of footwear that accommodate all types of hunting, from early season spot and stalk to late season stand hunting. What you wear on your feet has almost as much to do with your success as what you carry in your hands. With an industry-leading lifetime warranty, our choice in footwear is simple: Cabela's. Keeping things simple and minimizing gear is always a worthwhile goal. Nikon's Laser Force range-finding binoculars bring together the 2 pieces of optical hardware that most bow hunters carry to the stand. Working hard to contain cost, Nikon is able to offer the Laser Force at roughly the same price you would pay if you bought a rangefinder and a high-quality binocular separately. No-till planting preserves subsoil moisture and reduces the growth of weed competition. These are 2 of the main reasons we love using the RTP Genesis for all of our food plot planting. The no-till Genesis allows us to plant a wide variety of seeds at the proper depth for maximum germination, resulting in fast-growing food plots. After spooking the giant 8-pointer 2 mornings earlier, Jared Mills and Mike Reed head back to the same stand, hoping the buck is still in the area, or more importantly, hoping one of the many does that live on the peninsula is now in estrus.
Well, it's 7:30 here, and that's the buck that Mike and I call Eli. Good looking 8, and I'm back in the same stand this morning that I encountered him a couple days ago, and couldn't pull it off, and he spotted me trying to turn when I had a bedded buck in front of me. So I was thinking of going into the stand this morning, hoping that he had a short-term memory, and that proved true. I saw him at 50 yards and really thought we were in the chips. I thought we were going to get a shot at him, but he kind of turned and angled away. And that wind definitely had him kind of freaked out. Those big gusts and everything blowing around had him pretty nervous. It was cold, strong northwest wind this morning, and supposed to continue basically all day. Mike and I are going to hunt this farm the whole day. We'll probably switch stands sometime around midday, but hopefully we'll have a good couple of hunts. That buck Eli, that's encounter number 3 out of our last 4 hunts here, so he's a very killable deer, and Mike and I have kind of come to the conclusion that we're going to call him a mature deer at 5+, just based on some of his facial characteristics and some of the pictures we had earlier in the season. So with any luck, we'll see him again yet this morning. Well, it's after 11 now, and Mike and I are going to start packing things up. Overall, been a pretty slow morning. Figured when that rain stopped, we'd start seeing some bucks cruising around. We really didn't see much after Eli. We saw a couple does and a 1.5-year-old chasing another doe later in the morning, and that's been it. So Mike is up to bat next, and we're going to game plan on where we want to go this afternoon. Hopefully catch up with Eli here pretty soon.
The evening hunt was slow for Mike and Jared, but the temptation of that giant 8-pointer keeps them glued to the new farm. At some point, the pieces have to click into place with such a visible buck. As the old saying goes, you never look a gift horse in the mouth. A mature buck cruising during the middle of November is definitely a rare gift. Don't ask why, just keep after him. The next morning, the two bow hunters are back on the edge of the slough that lies very close to the peninsula where the 8-pointer is living.
Well, it's Sunday, November 19th. Frigid, cold morning. Got a stiff northwest wind, and Jared and I are set up on our new farm. Not far from where we shot Gronk, next to this grass patch, in this little pinch point. And we've already had a good start to our hunt. We saw the buck we call MARINO. It's the same buck, the 6x6 that we filmed our first sit on the farm. He just came right under the tree again. We think he's 4.5 years old, and so he gets to pass this year. We also saw a little 1.5-year-old, so conditions are just excellent. The pressure's above 30, clear skies, cold weather, northwest wind. So really looking forward to the morning. This time in November, on the tail end of the rut, we're hoping to find some of these big mature bucks cruising, looking for these last available does. So looking forward to the sit. Just a little before 11:30, and we're gonna have to get packed up and get out of here. We both got a lot of work to do, and it's just time to get home and get it done. But it's been a good sit. We've had 2 more doe groups come in here after 10 o'clock, and I think it was a group of 3 and a group of 5, and the group of 3, which was a doe and 2 fawns, had a really nice 3-year-old 10 that had a broken G4. MARINO, that beautiful 4-year-old, is always nice to see. So I've got to work the next 3 days, and then I will be doing some hunting over the Thanksgiving holidays, and hopefully with any luck Jared can get out these next few days and keep hunting. We'll keep chasing after Eli and any other mature bucks that we can run into on this property.
That same day, 100 miles to the east in western Illinois, Kane Gillette heads to a stand where one of his friends killed a great buck that morning. During that morning hunt, 2 bucks came out, the one his friend killed and the buck that Kane has been after all season, one that Kane's daughter had named Emma's buck.
Well, it's the last day of the Illinois first firearm season, and I'm hunting with my good friend Zach. We've been lifelong hunting partners, and this is his first time ever getting behind the camera, so pretty cool for him. And another cool thing today is he shot his biggest buck to date this morning out of this stand, so where the deer ran off and died, we think we can still have a good hunt. And he saw another one of our target deer that I call Emma's buck, the big 10 with the flyer. Gonna settle in for this evening's hunt and hope for the best. Are you on him? Ready? Zach, you ready? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Emma. Emma, look. Look. I had to show you something. Emma. Oh my gosh. Emma. Do you know what deer that is?
A big one.
That's Emma. That's Emma's buck.
Daddy got your buck.
That's Emma's buck. Look at him. Isn't he big? Isn't he awesome? Well, today is November 20th. It's the day after I'd harvested Emma's buck. We shot him last night. And last year my daughter named him Emma's buck. It was the first deer she's ever named, and she was really original with the name, so couldn't be happier to put my tag on any other deer really for 2017. I got some other great target deer, but I had really become kind of obsessed with him the last couple weeks just because I thought he was so killable, and it paid off, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and get some pictures done and celebrate this harvest a little more.
Frigid Forage Trophy Clover is my choice when creating poor man's plots, small food plots that we make on a budget using just hand tools. This seed blend has several varieties, and at least one does well in every condition. The seed germinates well and grows fast, producing a huntable food plot by the first fall. Coolers aren't just for the beach or exclusively for family vacation. They are for any time you need to keep something cold. When hanging stands during the dog days of summer, we depend on our American-made Grizzly coolers to keep refreshments cold so we can stick with it until the job is done. We had good success with the Ozonics HR200, which is still in the line, but their new HR300 model produces up to 45% more ozone. This can be critical in the tree stand on days when the wind is gusting. No one really thinks about mobility in their ground blind until it is too late. Having a good seat that allows you to pivot quickly and quietly to cover any window in the blind is a definite asset. That's why we use the redneck blind chair in all of our ground blind hunting. After killing a great 8-pointer 2 days earlier, Caleb and Taylor Byers are riding a wave of optimism, but their rut vacation is quickly coming to a close. The pair decide to spend their last 2 days pursuing their number 1 buck, a deer they have named Nemo.
We got about 30 minutes of daylight left, and the buck that we came after
the buck that we came in here after tonight actually just came out with a doe. She didn't come our way at all, really, but it's still early. She still has time to make it this way, so fingers crossed she does. Well, it's November 19th this morning, and we're back in the same set that we were at last night, and we actually had an encounter with one of the bucks that we were after. He skirted us at about 80 yards with a doe. We call this buck Nemo. His right side's just a hair bigger than his left. Just a super cool buck. And then we also got confirmation that the buck Caleb shot a little over a week ago is alive and well, and I'm sure if Caleb could do a backflip, he definitely would have. We're super pumped about that. And, once we found out, I was super adamant that Caleb be the one hunting this morning. It's our last hunt before we head back to work this evening. But, he was all gung-ho about me being the one hunting. He's already got a deer on the ground, and I'm just so thankful to have a husband that gets just as excited when I shoot a deer as he does, and that's super hard to find, so super thankful for that. And sun's coming up. I mean, it's gorgeous. You couldn't ask for better weather, and hopefully fingers crossed that we can get it done this morning. Oh, Caleb, big buck right here.
Give him a, see what he does, but give him a croners.
Yeah. He's at 60 yards. There's a twig right over his vitals. There's a twig right over his vitals. Well, that was one of our hit listers, and unfortunately he did come into range, but I had a twig right over his vitals, and I wasn't gonna force a shot that wasn't there, and that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. It's kind of how our season's been going. We just coming up short every time, and just how it goes. It's just part of it. Just got to keep grinding, and we'll keep after it. But I think our wind switched a little bit, and it's kind of blowing right on the edge of the bedding area, so I think that might be all she wrote for today's hunt. We go back to work tonight, and then we'll be back after it here and there, and hopefully every weekend for a while, so hopefully our season turns around soon.
Unfortunately, the Byers have run out of chances. Their rut vacation is over. The Byers month rode a razor edge from the very start. Multiple encounters with great bucks that could have gone either way but for the thinnest of margins. Ah, that is bow hunting. It can be maddening, but you have to embrace that madness. If you don't, it will crush you. With all the time and cautious decision-making that goes into creating encounters with mature bucks, the outcome always remains in question until the last second when the arrow finds the boiler room. There are so many things that can go wrong, and for the Byers, it seemed that all of them piled up in one season. The fused Cybex single-pin slider is easily adjustable, offers a rock-solid lockdown, and a bright pin that is easy to see in low light. All fused sights are rugged and purpose-built for serious whitetail hunters. Many people think that arrows just need to be straight to be accurate, but that is only half of the story. They also must have a consistent spine around the arrow and from one arrow to the next. Easton has been making arrows longer than any other company. Doug Easton started making arrows in 1922. The company continues to thrive because its people understand what makes for an accurate arrow. HOYT has been a standard of the bow hunting community for more than a generation. Each year, the company designs bows that are more accurate and more dependable than the year before. Redworks is their most recent offering to carry on this legendary standard. Sleepless nights spent waiting for daylight only to follow a weak blood trail are a thing of the past with the devastating performance of the new Wasp Jackhammer Broadhead. With its 1 3/4 inch cutting diameter, this head is the perfect combination of destruction and penetration. So maybe that will bring another buck out before the evening is over with, because if you get a hot doe, usually there's other bucks that are trying to find her too.
That buck Eli, that's encounter number 3 out of our last 4 hunts here, so he's a very killable deer, and Mike and I have kind of come to the conclusion that we're going to call him a mature deer at 5+.
Couldn't be happier to put my tag on any other deer really for 2017. I got some other great target deer, but I had really become kind of obsessed with him the last couple weeks just because I thought he was so killable. And
the last week of the rut can be dynamite. Jared and Mike know this and are very hopeful that one of the mature bucks living on their new farm will finally give them a clear shot. For my part, I have not given up. Though I took some time off during the lull, I am refreshed to know that the breeding phase is just about over and the mature bucks should once again be on their feet. The days have flown past. We see them in the rearview mirror now, but we can also see opportunities out the windshield, and with renewed hope we press the gas pedal and drive forward. We have forgotten the struggle. The 25 days of effort seem to blur to nothing. Only one thing remains: tomorrow. And with it, we will once again be chasing November.